what we're learning and what the people in the Jets organization are learning and have learned over the last couple of weeks is the kind of fishbowl they're going to be in. And, look, I think, like, Aaron might be as equipped for it as anyone because, people act as if, like Green Bay is – I mean, it's not a big market, but it's not like some NFL, like, wasteland. Like that team, and you've been around them, Rich, they're as well covered as anybody. So as far as like, the volume of reporters in the locker room and the number of beat people, it's not that different. I think the difference here is going to be the magnitude of the story, right? So I don't think it's so much New York versus Green Bay as it is the sort of fishbowl effect that this story is going to have. And I think this week's a perfect example of it. Like, you have one, Aaron Rodgers tweaking his calf, and that got covered like the moon landing, right? And then you have Alan Lazard getting banged up or whatever happened and then having to go on Twitter to clarify because there was all kinds of buzz that came out of that, right? And, normally these sorts of things happen in May, and it's a footnote if you even realize what's happening with some of these teams. You know what I mean? Like, or, okay, like guy tweaked his ankle, whatever. Like, he kind of limped off a little bit. He's back out there at the end of practice. He'll be fine. No need to push it in May, right? It's just different now. Like when you have legendary quarterback switching teams and going to a new place like that. And I think like what we've seen this week with the first set of like full OTAs and really what is the unofficial start of football practice with the Jets is that like everything that they do this year is going to be under a microscope. And so I think in a way it's like good that they're getting it out of the way now in that like the players, especially the younger players, are kind of like learn the landscape. So when they get to the season, they'll be ready for it. But I mean, I don't think there's any question, like, when we've seen the Jets in these sorts of situations before, the Tebow situation was kind of a funny one. The Favre situation obviously was very well covered. I think that's sort of what you're looking at, like over the next 3-4 weeks as far as the way the team's going to be covered and scrutinized, and certainly when we get to training camp.
Obviously, as a Jet fan, you're looking for the trapdoor, and I'm like, I'm undeterred. I will not be deterred by any of this. But of course, a calf tweak in May just is a fresh reminder of just how old Aaron Rodgers is. Yep. That's it. What do you know about his regimen? Does he take a page from Brady? Does he reach out to Brady? Is there a TB12 connection here with his training and his regimen?
There's actually an interesting story there. So I go back. So this was probably, I'd have to look it up. I think it was, I want to say 4 or 5 summers ago when I was with Rodgers. And, like he basically told me that he bought Tom's book. And at that point, I think he was 35, 36, whatever his age was. And he bought Tom's book, and he's like, I don't do all of it. He's like, I have like learned to like incorporate some of the things that Tom has done to create longevity for himself, like integrating like some things that he does into what I do. And so that was something that Aaron took a very like intentional look at. And his explanation was actually like, I think a lot of people at that point were like, is he going to like how soon could this guy walk away? And he actually told me, he was like, it's a goal of mine to play until I'm 40 now. And and his logic on it was, I need something to shoot for. He's like, you can only be pissed off about being the 24th pick and having 23 teams pass on you for so long until that just doesn't motivate you the same way anymore. So he's like, my new thing is seeing how far I can take this and seeing how long I can remain at this level. And, I mean, I can tell you definitively that he went out and bought Tom Brady's book, that TB12 manual, and he incorporates some, not all, of the things that Tom's done over the years to create longevity for himself.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.